Hey, I'm Rob, and this is how you brew a great pour-over coffee for two using the Kalita Wave. So here's what you need. You need a gooseneck kettle. The gooseneck makes it easy to pour. Of course, you need water to go in your gooseneck kettle. I usually just fill it up. You need a scale. You need fresh coffee, 30 grams. You need a Kalita Wave. This is the 185 model. I like to have a spoon because you need to give it a little bit of a stir when you're first starting out to make sure all those grounds get saturated. You need a carafe to brew your coffee into, and then you need something to set your Kalita on after you're done that it can drip down into, and you need a towel. This method is going to be a 16:1 water to coffee ratio, and what that means is we're going to use 480 grams of water to 30 grams of coffee. That brings up a point about your scale. It needs to weigh out to at least 1,000 grams, and it needs to be able to weigh at least to the half gram. I like this scale a lot. It's an Achaia scale. It weighs the coffee to 1/10 of a gram, so you can be very accurate. Not necessary for everyone, and it's a little bit pricey, but there's some great scales out there. I have a couple recommendations. I'll leave those in the descriptions for you. I've used others that are great. So let's get started. The first thing we're gonna do is drop our filter into the Kalita. And this is actually a Kalita filter. So I recommend getting those. They have the flat bottom, and they're actually made for the 185 model. So we're going to wet this coffee filter. And the reason we do that is, one, to wash away any of the papery taste that might be in that filter, because we want to brew a great cup of coffee, not a okay cup of coffee. We don't want any extra tastes in there. We want coffee taste in there. But the benefit of doing that is, one, you get to kind of pre-warm your Kalita. You also get to pre-warm your carafe, and that way when the coffee hits it, it's already warm. It's not pulling the heat from the hot coffee, and your coffee's gonna stay hotter longer, which is what we want, right? So like I said, we're gonna use 30 grams of fresh coffee. It's gonna be ground to a medium fine. And what that means is it's gonna look kind of like kosher salt. Take your mug, shake that a little bit, get that water out, but we wanna take this water from our carafe. I like to pour it in the mug, warm that mug up too, just in the same way we wanna pre-warm this carafe. We wanna pre-warm our mug so that our coffee stays hotter longer. Set our Kalita back on top. Pour our coffee in. And give the Kalita a little shake, because you want to level out the coffee bed in there. You don't want peaks and valleys, because as the water draws through the coffee, you want it to extract evenly. So you want that water to come through the coffee evenly. That's gonna help you have a better extraction and make the coffee great. Now we're ready to start brewing. Our scale's on. We've tared it out. That means it's at 0. We have our filtered water in our kettle. It's at about 205 to 210 degrees. Okay, our first pour is called the bloom. It's gonna be 60 grams of water. And what the bloom does is ensure that any gases can escape and that all the coffee is saturated, so that when we're doing our subsequent pours, there are no dry clumps and everything's nice and wet, and the brewing process is very even. Okay, so let's go ahead. You just do a nice easy pour. And like I said, we're going to 60 grams. If you go over a little bit, that's okay. It's hard to be accurate sometimes. Take your spoon, and I like to just give it a little bit of a stir just to make sure it's kind of gotten to all that coffee. Our second pour, we're coming up to 240 grams. So that's actually an additional 180 grams onto the 60 grams we've started. Similar to the bloom, we're just gonna pour nice and slow. And we're gonna pour all the way to 240. And you wanna go in, work your way out to the edges, and then back into the middle. Try to keep your pour consistent. And then once you hit 240, I like to give it a little bit of a spin. That helps settle the coffee down into an even bed. And we're gonna wait, probably 15 or 20 seconds before we start our next pour. Okay, so next pour. This is gonna be a longer pour. Again, nice and even, not too much, not too little. Try to keep your pour consistent, have that water falling just about straight down. And what we're gonna do is pour to 480 grams on this. You wanna pour in a way that allows you to get all of the water in the Kalita, but without overflowing. So if you're overflowing, you kind of know you're going too fast, and if the water's draining out, you know that you're going too slow. Do another gentle spin, flatten that coffee bed, let it drain out. Don't worry about your time on this. You know, I shoot for 4 to 5 minutes, but if you find that it's taking longer than that, definitely coarsen up your grind, let that coffee brew quicker. But if you have any trouble or any questions, leave those in the comments. I'll answer them. We'll get you sorted out. Peace.